paid, but I was just saying to Lizzie, I make a couple $100 too much to, but I was just saying to Lizzie, I make a couple $100 too much to be on SNAP benefits this semester because I'm teaching 2 courses. I would have loved 3 courses, but there's no guarantee of that.
I work at 3 different schools, and as an adjunct, I have to make ends meet.
You're counting your grocery money, you're deciding whether you're going to be able to make rent that month, you're deciding whether you're going to hit your utility bills.
The average salary of adjuncts for a 3 credit hour course is $5,100. And our president currently makes over $1 million plus the $240,000 bonus. Just the bonus alone would have saved 49 courses.
1.72 million people stand with you and have your back.
Taxpayer dollars have no business funding universities without principles that align with the principles of this country. Today's hearing is the beginning, not the end, of the committee's investigation of your institutions.
The hundreds of thousands of higher ed workers in this country have a message for Congressman Fox and Congresswoman Stefanik and all the propaganda peddlers that aim to smear our campuses in higher education. And that message is this: hands off our students, hands off our faculty and our workers. We have watched as higher education has become a punching bag for bad faith actors.
The privatization of our public goods has led directly to this moment in which higher education is kicked around as a political football. Administrators are more responsive to the whims and threats of donors than to the educational needs of students. The decimation of the faculty through the exploitation of contingent labor has been a strategy for decades already to exert total administrative control and suppress and repress the voices of educators and scholars.
The committee's work here is part of a wider right-wing assault against higher education and protections of teaching faculty, like tenure, to exercise academic freedom, academic judgment, create intellectual engagement.
The political right would like nothing more than to shrink public higher education and the opportunities that it affords to all citizens.
We will not stop, we will not rest.
Maintain active dialogue.
In the course of my career, I don't think there's been a moment that's had stakes like this, especially for contingent faculty. The risks to our jobs when we stand up really are incalculable.
How many faculty and staff have you fired or suspended?
But I can tell you, after today's hearing, I'm terrified. I heard committee members calling out faculty by name, demanding their firing. I heard them calling for students to be expelled. And what drives me crazy is that these people have never been to our campuses.
And our students have a right to peacefully protest. In fact, that is what we ask them to do. We ask them as educators to learn, to critically think.
I think that a real solution to this crisis is dialogue and engagement facilitated by faculty.
Agree or disagree?
Encouraging students and faculty colleagues to have serious conversations about what is happening. To shut down conversations is not going to work.
We must protect free speech, freedom of assembly, and all the First Amendment rights.
I just want to encourage all the students out there. I'm here and all these educators are here to stand with you and say we support your right to free speech. We support each other's right to academic freedom. What's happening in that chamber right now is completely missing the point of what's unfolding on our campuses.
I forgot to mention when I was in 2nd grade, after that school year, a lot of the teachers got fired, and they were good teachers. And so I don't want that to happen again. So I was wondering how we can keep our teachers. Yes.
Well, that means we have to get more money for the schools. And one of the things that we're able to do, but now it's going to be a big problem again, is that in the middle of COVID, remember there was a change of presidents in the election. So the one we have now, Joe Biden, must have heard you when you said that. Because we got a lot of money in something called the American Rescue Plan to help make sure that as we went from that pandemic to try to have normal lives again, that there was funding for teachers. So he must have heard you. But the problem is that money is limited. It was what they call one shot. So we got a big bulk of it over 3 years, and then this year is going bye-bye. So people like Jessica Tang and all these other adults that are here, we go to the state capitol, you know, that big building, right? And we lobby people to actually get funding. So sometimes we're successful, and then there's none of those layoffs. And sometimes when we're not successful, you have those kind of layoffs. So I think, did we take a video of that? And do we have permission to use that? Yes. I think we're gonna actually, do you mind if we actually say and take what you just said? Tell me your first name.
Cleo.
Cleo.
Yeah.
Cleo. If we take Cleo's voice and your video, and we go to the Capitol and we say, listen to Cleo. That's going to be helpful in terms of lobbying. Thank you, Cleo, for standing up. My God, we got a long...
Tell us about like the connections outside. When the students are done here, what options do they have?
There's so many avenues. We've just developed a really good relationship with the local pipe fitters union, Local 455. We've got a huge grant going on from Johnson Controls International, who is, it's a $400,000 grant that's helping us recruit students from the St. Paul School District, the traditionally underserved students that don't get this opportunity. And they'll be trained at the Pipe Fitters Training Center, and those credits will transfer into my program here because they want students to have a college degree before they come there. So we're doing great things. The program is huge. It's, you know, I think that at one point this summer I had 24 students enrolled with 32 students on a wait list because we simply don't have the space for it.
In Virginia will have control of the state legislature and the governor's office.
It will go to voter turnout.
You will have, by having a union, not only collective bargaining, but all sorts of other rights.
What I'm most excited about is teachers from Fairfax County being able to join a history of unions protecting workers' rights.
To bring our needs to the forefront of our school board and our superintendent.
And myself and a lot of us have been working on this for years to get to this point, and we're finally here.
With both unions in the FEU, we can make a lot of positive change.
This rally right here in front of them is to show we are not afraid to tell the truth.
Mr. Miles has created a broken education system. And every day he shows us it's about power and money.
The school environment is so toxic. Men and women sit in their cars before school starts crying. They are being pressured to follow a faulty curriculum.
Our teachers are being held hostage to a curriculum that is set to fail our economically disadvantaged children.
Do we really believe that the best interests of the children are behind these decisions? No. They don't think we deserve our own funds, our own schools, and our own democracy.
My community is dealing with multiple injustices over and over and over and over and over. It's time for us to pick up the torch for each other.
Support public schools by treating teachers professionally, valuing students for more than a test score, and partnering with parents.
Will you stand up for our education? Houston? Will you stand up for the community of Houston? Sí se puede! Sí se puede! Sí se puede!
Perhaps pants like C. Maybe it's Chelsea. His name is Alexa.
What is remarkable to me about the community school model is that we're creating a systems approach populated by people to actually doing the social, emotional, economic work that's absolutely necessary to help everybody in the community, particularly kids and families, thrive.
Now we feel like we can empower to do so much more.
So this is our dental clinic, a little sensory area, so it's like a wellness suite. We have a clothing closet.
Gone are the days where schools are just academic centers. Better attendance, and you're also seeing the benefit of teacher retention. Teachers want to be in community schools. Teachers want to be in schools where there is support.
We now have mental health counselors in the building that we see daily.
We place a community school director at every one of our schools who is skilled at relationship building, managing, leveraging, and facilitating supports, services, and partnerships.
A lot of my job is networking with community organizations, and it's really about the relationships that are already in the school but just need the kind of catalyst.
She finds ways to connect us with the resources we didn't even know existed.
Sometimes we were like a little bit low, but when she came, we were like going like, woo!
A lot of these families are struggling. It's such a blessing that as a counselor, we're able to help the students in a social and emotional aspect in the school, but also give services outside so they can actually benefit from it. And not just them, but their younger siblings and their family as well.
Cuando uno llega a un país que no es el tuyo, llegas con muchas preguntas. Las puertas de la escuela estuvieron abiertas para mi hija, para mi familia.
Mi nombre es Ingrid, soy de Colombia. Mi hija llegó con un poco de ansiedad.
Con Miss Allison dieron terapias y le ayudaron mucho.
Thank you so much for all the volunteer work that you do. I have, a big group of parent volunteers that are here consistently. They're helping with food pantry, with our clothing closet, with the parent association, and I get to hear about different barriers that they may be facing. So they're coming in, building relationship with me, building relationship with each other, having that camaraderie, having that trust in the school.
Ayudar para que los niños estén bien, se les atienda cómodamente como si estuvieran en su casa.
Everyone has a sense of ownership and leadership in this building so that when we say yes, there's also a system to support.
And what I'm seeing here in terms of the infrastructure that you've put together is so remarkable.
Todo ha sido muy positivo, las profesoras, la directora, Allison, el grupo de padres voluntarios, todo ha sido muy bueno, todo ha sido muy bueno.
Public schools are the basis for strong communities, and community schools are the basis for strong communities, and that's part of what we are doing here. The International Welcome Center is our one-stop shop for newly arrived immigrant and refugees who are coming into the Kansas City Public School District.
Those seeking asylum are told that very quickly they need to get their kids enrolled in school, so I think the earliest I've had somebody come, they said we got off the bus this morning and now we're here to enroll our kid.
This map shows why we call ourselves the Global Academy.
Wow. And are these current students?
We have students from all over the world, including Africa, Asia, from the Americas.
Our students come and initially speak no English whatsoever.
They are not always here starting in elementary school. A lot of students that come to us that start in secondary, middle school, high school.
We have the language here to support folks, and then we're able to offer wraparound services to create a soft landing in Kansas City. So they are some of our valedictorians, salutatorians graduating from school. I think this is just continuing to build a United States that's true to our roots, frankly, of immigrants and refugees looking for a better life.
We've shown Peace Health how determined we are in our cause, how hard we're willing to fight.
They called us heroes then, but what are we now? Zeros.
You're leaving a legacy, not just for your own family, but for everybody else who ever steps through those doors. No contract, no peace!
You have shown your power. We are not going to let management roll over the top of us ever again.
This is so exciting, so empowering.
Peace Health has lost its way.
For them, it's not about respect. It's about power. Oh, we're going to fight for a fair contract? We're tired of poverty wages. Are we tired of being disrespected every day that we come to work? This is a fight that we will win.
There's not a damn thing that can stop us. A united group of pissed off workers. Solidarity forever.
When you piss me off, I get mad.
Y'all know that.
I believe school is a place where their mental health should be factored into those academics.
Whether it's PTSD or they're homeless or they're in foster care or it's just not a good situation at home.
Why are they acting out? What is the behavior caused from? And until we address those issues, then nothing's going to change.
And at the moment we have no resources, someone where I can send them and say, hey, this is your safe person.
It's a big deal to me to have mental health teams within each school. When you have a school-based team, that child sees that person in their school as a community member every single day.
And I think it's very important that we give them time and the opportunity and the presence to show them that we care for them as a human being, not just a student.
I'm a special ed paraprofessional, and I think a real solution is to have a dedicated mental health team in every school.
These are the foundations of the $5 million year-long campaign the AFT is launching called Real Solutions for Kids and Communities. Unlocking the power and possibility that comes from being a confident reader. You like that one? Ensuring that all children have opportunities to learn by doing. Caring for young people's mental health and well-being. Catalyzing a vast expansion of community schools that meaningfully partner with families. And of course, by fighting for the teaching and support staff and the resources students need to thrive.
Here in Beaverton, Real Solutions mean to us having a fully bodied classified staff
to help the children to become great readers and great learners.
Wow.
Real Solutions in Boston is definitely ensuring that every student has what they need to succeed and thrive.
While people are banning books, we're giving them away. It's bringing a community together.
For us in New Haven, one real solution is making sure that teachers have the support and tools they need so they can prevent burnout.
Investing in social emotional well-being and making sure that every kid has a trusted adult.
A program at a New Haven high school got a visit today from a prominent national figure in teaching. This is part of the AFT's year-long Real Solutions for Kids and Communities campaign.
Good to meet you, Miguel Cardona. Pleasure to meet you. Randi Weingarten.
We offer real solutions by providing students the knowledge and the hands-on experience they need that will get them into a high-paying job.
When I got out of this program, I anticipate having no debt, an apprenticeship lined up. I have someone who's going to advocate for me in the union.
How do we spark an interest in literacy and reading? By making sure that kids have books.
Real Solutions for
the kids in the Harlem community is the encouragement of reading, and it brings the joy back into their lives when they open up books.
I love reading because it's fun. It keeps you entertained.
The American Federation of Teachers wants to talk about its proposals to boost learning in the classroom and to support teachers and families. The AFT is promoting its $5 million Real Solutions for Kids and Communities initiative.
Let's get those social media companies to think about children's safety and health, not just their profits.
Whoa, it ain't about a bet.
AFT is bringing real solutions to the children and the community through Reading Upens the World.
We are getting books into the hands of a community that needs them.
Experiential learning that happens in CTE should be the driving force of public education.
Me and my classmates just got our CNA license.
You get to do a lot of hands-on stuff. It's a great career for the rest of your life.
We can achieve things together that are impossible alone.
Welcome, please come in and enjoy our book fair. Welcome, come on in.
This event is going so well. I'm so excited. We have been able to give out a ton of books so far. We were gifted with 40,000 books for our community, and we have had hundreds of families come in already.
And that was made possible through a number of different partners, but none more important for this particular event than the UFT and the AFT.
The superintendent, the principal, the teachers, the unions, everybody working together is the only way this works.
This is all about building community, bringing the communities together in our school so that we can build our READ, because it's all about reading, 584 reads.
Research shows that the most important thing that influences like a student's ability to read well is matching them to books that they can read, that they want to read.
I like comic books a lot. There's this movie called Descendants, and I got like spell books and stuff like that.
There's no bookstores in our area, so to come through and be able to pick up so many books, it definitely has a huge impact.
We want to build the fluency so that all of our students and children are prepared and ready for the world.
We have so many books down here. We also have so many activities upstairs, games, food, vendors. So this event is really, really helping because District 7 has some of the lowest literacy rates in New York City, and we want to make sure that we are infusing our district with everything that they need.
Well, literacy is everything, right? Being able to read, being able to learn, being able to explore is foundational.
The smell of a book, the cover of a book, the look of a book. So to be able to pick up a book and see the joy in their faces after being through the pandemic, they get to be around their friends, they get to make associating that connection with reading a book and make it a party at the same time.
That everybody finds books that they love. This is how you get kids to be confident and joyful readers. You gotta give them books. They gotta have books that they love. That's what the AFT is doing. That's Real Solutions.
When I started as president of New Haven Federation of Teachers in January of 2022, it was very clear that teachers were not okay, that our members were not okay. Educator burnout is at an all-time high.
So my job is to prepare you.
The first few years of my career, being a teacher ended up becoming like who I was. Like all I would do is work, like I would grade papers outside of school. I didn't have a social life because I was just so exhausted from everything that was going on. So I think that's one of the big stressors is like, how do I support myself while supporting the kids in not just their academics, but like their social, emotional well-being. It's a lot.
I was the SPMT chairperson. I was the restorative person fixing the problems with the students. I'm the SEL person. So I think it was a lot, and not having anyone else want to step up and do it. The frustration of being asked to do so many roles at the school on top of my teaching. When something's difficult or challenging, what do you do?
Given what we know about what teachers are experiencing with burnout, we wanted to be proactive and give teachers and educators the tools they need to prevent burnout. We worked out the logistics with Educators Thriving, and through a grant from AFT, we were able to offer 50 of our members professional learning series or personal learning series with Educators Thriving that they were paid to do. So the sessions that our members participated in with Educators Thriving focused on pitfalls that often lead to increased burnout and how to prevent those pitfalls.
You could do something to hold it up.
Truly, the things, the tiny habits that she talked about were so beneficial and allowed us to be reflective and step back from our roles as the teacher, the fixer, the solver of everything and say, no, I have a life too, and I need to live my life and enjoy it. I can't give everything, to the kids. And in realizing that, you do then become a better teacher because you're not stressed. You come here happy because you've taken care of yourself.
As a matter of fact, we're all probably feeling the same way.
I think that's the biggest thing, like with Educators Thriving, was like it gave me tools to evaluate where I lacked and then how could I fix it. I think the big thing was before, like I knew that these were lacking, but I didn't know how to fix it or how to work on it. So it like pushed me to work on those things and be solutions oriented rather than just complaining about a problem.
Tell somebody, like, ooh, I did that.
So we ended up finding out that our members, 98% of them were thrilled with the professional learning that they received, and they said that it helped them feel increased well-being throughout their school year. And that's a win for us. When our teachers have the tools they need to feel increased well-being, our students benefit, our schools benefit, and ultimately those are the solutions that we really believe we can all get around.
What's happening right now across the country, Alabama as Exhibit A, is just, it is a taking of the money that is needed for public schools, and it's putting them into privatized settings. Overwhelmingly, most of the money goes to people who already send their kids to private schools, so most of it actually goes to the wealthy.
We must ensure our public schools receive the funding they need and remain free from political interference.
It's not for all children. It doesn't take rocket science. People just want an equitable opportunity for education. The state of Alabama and most of the South, for some reason, we won't get past our old history. This voucher bill, it's already research that show you who this money is going for. And we can't be afraid to call our elected officials out.
The public schools are the foundation of our community.
The Treaty of Paris of what year? 1763. All right, 1763.
If you have a mind to learn and a work ethic, the faculty and staff here will do everything they can to try to take these students to the next level.
That's why it's called a public school. Everybody should have a right to a free and appropriate education.
Our job is to make sure that we make every public school a place where parents want to send their kids, educators want to work, and kids succeed.
And what's important to me is when I see my students' growth, my scholars' growth.
That is the work of educators who are standing behind me. That's the work of teachers. That's the work of paras. That's the work of bus drivers. That's where passion meets purpose.
На початку жовтня 2022 року класна керівниця роздала всім дітям бланки та сказала, що всі повинні поїхати до табору в Крим. Варіанту відмовитися не було. Тож ми попрощалися з батьками о 6 ранку та виїхали. Ми їхали через окуповану Нову Каховку, і саме тоді було зрозуміло, що щось тут не те, бо нам сказали закрити всі вікна шторками, вимкнути телефони та вікна не дивитися. Нас везли як якийсь секрет.
Вони мене відвезли в табір учистий
вибачте, дружбу. Там треба було співати російський гімн. Якщо ти цього не робив, то ти писав доповідну. Наступний раз ти розмовляв з наглядачем Астаховим, а на третій раз тебе просто саджали в ізолятор. Ізолятор – це кімната 2х2, в якому є ліжко, туалет і балкон з решітками. Тебе там нікуди не випускають, телефон не можна. Я там пробув 4 рази, це взагалом 15 діб. На той момент мені було дуже сильно страшно, я навіть думав втікти, але я розумів, якщо я втечу, то будуть жахливі наслідки.
Ми з братом були вимушені переміщені на територію Росії, направили на навчання, а мого брата забрали до літнього табору до Росії, начебто на відпочинок на 2 тижні. Вони всіляко намагалися мене пояснити, що я маю отримати російське громадянство, бо я, як дитина-сирота, можу отримати їхні плюшки. Але я розуміла, що я громадянка своєї країни, України, і я в них просто як гість, я не маю права на це. Це просто була маніпуляція. Саме найважче було це повернутися назад до України і забрати свого брата. Я знаходилася на території Росії дуже близько до кордону з Україною, і коли я бачила вивіску Харків, я просто дуже сумувала і хотіла потрапити на територію України.
Він збирав всіх новеньких та говорив, що Росія поглине Україну, українці стануть рабами росіян. А якщо ти на території табору згадаєш щось за Україну, то збираєш речі і йдеш додому пішки. У мене діабет, і коли я підійшов, сказав на пункті табору про те, що мені треба докупити інсулін, мені просто відповіли, що чекай, поки ліки повністю не закінчаться. Через 2-3 дні до мене підходить Валерій Астахов і говорить, що якщо я не підкорюсь Росії, то я помру в таборі. В один з моментів, так, мені здалося, що я вже не зможу повернутися, але я потім, сам собі сказав, що надія помирає остання. Тому що я знав, що мої батьки та я не зупинюся на тому, що повернутися додому.
Я могла зв'язатися з батьками, але це було досить проблематично, бо в Херсоні була російська зв'язь та не було інтернету. А коли сказали, що з'явився новий закон, що якщо дитина півроку без батьків, то її віддають в дитбудинок. Через 4 місяці. Потім я зв'язалася з мамою через своєї подружки. І я дізналася, що вона знайшла Save Ukraine, з допомогою якого вона вже робила собі закордонний паспорт. І потім, коли дізналися в мене в коледжі, що до мене приїде мама, на мене тисли дуже, що ось вона тобі бреше, це неправда, тобі це говорять спеціально, щоб дати якусь надію, а на самом ділі до тебе ніхто не приїде, ти їй не потрібна, і на неї не хватить коштів до тебе приїхати. Всім дітям робили російські документи, і я була наступною в черзі, але не встигли. Але, к щастю, саме тоді я дізналася про Save Ukraine і нарешті повернулася додому.
Коли я побачився з батьками, було дуже багато емоцій, не тільки сльоз, ну і радості теж було. Я просто хочу, щоб всі дізналися, як росіяни знущаються над нашими українськими дітьми. Вони не піклуються про дітей, так як показують це по телебаченню.
What would you like to say to the Ukrainian people who is still suffering?
Те, що не треба здаватись, те, що...
Do not give up.
I like to read because it kind of gives you an experience. When I read books, it makes me calm.
And I will do anything to read.
Drama and the storyline. I have animal books where they like to read about animals.
I like to mostly read about trains. I also like sirens, fire alarms, the emergency alert system.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. No-brainer, this one.
It's funny. It has a lot of comedy in it.
Tell me about your favorite book, Oh David.
He runs out the bathroom and he goes in the city without no clothes and his butt cheeks shows. I remember this, it was my favorite one. My mom read it to me before.
Captain understands how their friendship will get them through any problem.
What would you do with 10 million books?
I would put them where I put all my books, and I would read one every single day.
Hair Love is a banned book. It's crazy these times we live in where a book about a dad trying to do his daughter's hair would be considered something that people don't want to have in schools or libraries. The daddy tries slicking my hair back. So many young people who I knew who like favorite characters were like Frozen, and they wish they had blonde hair, and like, you know, that's cool, but also it's good to like love you how you look yourself naturally as well. And then also, black dads get a bad rap when it comes to mainstream media. You know, he's depicted as not being present. You know, that's actually not true. And so just want to represent for the dads out there too. There's the next great author out here. I truly believe it. It all starts with seeing people that look like them doing what they don't think is possible. There's just been growing lists of books that are banned, and one of the things that often is in common is that they're from authors of color. You know, we just got to continue to stand up and continue to speak out against this. There's nothing wrong with self-love and teaching people to love themselves.
Please welcome American Federation of Teachers President, Randi Weingarten.
You can tell I'm excited because I don't think I have ever tripped up those stairs. So are you excited? Are you ready to elect the next President of the United States? So, 4 years ago, the AFT made a great choice. We supported Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as the leaders best prepared to lead our country out of crisis and to a brighter future. They have created the strongest economic recovery in our lifetimes. They've restored integrity to the White House. This is the most pro-labor, pro-worker, pro-family, pro-public education administration in our history. Now, we have an opportunity to make history again. Kamala Harris has led the fight for our freedoms, to make our own decisions about our own bodies, to live safe from gun violence, and the freedom to join a union. Kamala Harris fights for a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. So, the Vice President is right behind us. I told her earlier that her entry into the race has electrified this race and has electrified this hall. So, my friends, we all know there's a lot of teachers in this hall, so we all know a lot about assignments. So, my friends, my siblings, do you understand our assignment? Are we going to go full throttle through November 5th? Are we going to shatter every record for voter turnout? And are we going to elect Kamala one of our own members, Brittany Shoop, you do that, who's going to introduce the Vice President.
Hello, AFT family. My name is Brittany Shoop. I'm a proud member of the Pittsburgh Federation of Teachers, Local 400. Now, I've only had 3 pinch me, I don't believe this is real moments in my life. One, when I was hired as a special education teacher in the Pittsburgh Public Schools, which has been my dream since I was a 3rd grader in the Pittsburgh Public Schools. 2, when my sweet, loving husband proposed on Christmas morning. And 3, these last 36 hours, when I found out I was going to introduce Vice President Harris. As a special education teacher, I had heard about the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Unfortunately, what I had heard was that during the last administration, most people who applied for it didn't get it. The Biden-Harris administration fixed PSLF and made the process easy. So I applied and later had my student loans forgiven. This is a huge weight off my shoulders, and now I help my fellow teachers get the debt forgiveness they deserve. Vice President Harris fights for us. And as president, she will fight for a better life for all Americans. And now it is my honor to introduce the first woman to be elected Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
My goodness, it's so good to be with everybody. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. If you have a seat, please have a seat. It is good to be in the House of Labor. Thank you. My goodness. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, thank you all. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Can we hear it for Brittany, please? Oh, thank you all. It's so wonderful to be back with everyone here. Thank you. That means so much more than I can say. Randi, thank you for your friendship, your long-standing friendship. As we all know, Randi is a force, and she has been an incredible friend and an advisor to the President and me. And I want to thank you on behalf of the President and me and our country for all that you are. And I want to begin by saying a few words about our President, Joe Biden. You know, right? Yeah.
stand. So last night, our president addressed the nation, and he showed once again what true leadership looks like. He really did. His words were poignant. You know, I'll speak in a moment about the importance of reminding people of history, teaching America's true history. He thinks and talks about his work and our country, understanding what it means in terms of what we do now and how that will impact the future. He thinks about our history in the context of the importance of the work we do now. And over the past 3.5 years, and over his entire career, Joe has led with grace and strength and bold vision and deep compassion. And as he said, that's right. And as he said, in the next 6 months, he will continue to fight for the American people, and I know we are all deeply, deeply grateful for his continued service to our nation. Thank you. Thank you. And to the members of AFT, I thank you for your service to our nation. From the public service workers and higher education faculty to the school bus drivers and the custodians, to the school nurses and our teachers, you all do God's work educating our children, the whole ecosystem of who are AFT members. It is you who have taken on the most noble of work, which is to concern yourself with the well-being of the children of America. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that. And I thank you also for your support over the years and for being the first union to endorse me this week. Thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And as you may know, I am a proud product of public education. Many of you know that my first grade teacher, Mrs. Frances Wilson, God rest her soul, taught me and educated me and encouraged me and inspired me. And years later, when I walked across the stage to receive my law school diploma, Mrs. Frances Wilson was in the audience. Yeah. Yeah. And that's who you are. I know who you are. I know who you are. This work is personal, and it is professional, and it is so critically important. And so it is because of Mrs. Wilson and so many teachers like her that I stand before you as Vice President of the United States of America. And that I am running to become President of the United States of America. And what I know firsthand is that our teachers and all those who are here, all the members of AFT, I know that by nature, you are visionaries. You are focused on the future. The work you do is about a focus on the future. You see the potential in every child. You foster it, you encourage it, and in so doing, you shape the future of our nation, which is why I say we need you so desperately right now. Today, we face a choice between two very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, and the other focused on the past. And we are fighting for the future. And in our vision of the future, we see a place where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. A future where no child has to grow up in poverty, where every senior can retire with dignity, and where every worker has the freedom to join a union. We see a future with affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid leave, not for some, but for all. We see a future where every student has the support and the resources they need to thrive, and a future where no teacher has to struggle with the burden of student loan debt. So as an example, our administration has forgiven student loan debt for nearly 5 million Americans, and twice as much for our public servants, including our teachers. Teachers like Tanya Cabeza, who I met recently in Philadelphia. Tanya was first in her family to go to college, and she had been, like many, paying off her student loans for 20 years. And she told me, she was like, look, I at many times wondered, would I have to leave this profession I love to just be able to pay my bills? But I didn't leave, because I love what I do and I understand the importance. But making decisions then about what she could afford in terms of her daily obligations and dealing with these loans. And after 20 years, she still owed $40,000 in student loans. And we forgave it all. When she learned, she told me, she said, when she learned that her loans had been forgiven, she said, well, me and my children knew our lives had changed, and we were just dancing. So there we go. But we are clear-eyed. As we work to build a brighter future and to move our nation forward, there are those who are really trying to take us backward. And you, I'm sure, have seen their agenda. Project 2025. Randy, can you believe they put that thing in writing? 900 pages in writing. So Project 2025 is a plan to return America to a dark past. Donald Trump and his extreme allies want to take our nation back to failed trickle-down economic policies, back to union busting, back to tax breaks for billionaires. Donald Trump and his allies want to cut Medicare and Social Security, to stop student loan forgiveness for teachers and other public servants. And I say to AFT, they even want to eliminate the Department of Education and end Head Start, which of course would take away preschool from hundreds of thousands of our children. He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and make working families foot the bill. And he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. Now think about that, to take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Remember what that was like? Children with asthma, women who survived breast cancer, grandparents with diabetes. You know, America has tried these failed economic policies before, but we are not going back. We are not going back. No, we will move forward. And one of the best ways to keep our nation moving forward is to give workers a voice, to protect the freedom to organize, to defend the freedom to collectively bargain, to end union busting. As head of the White House Labor Task Force, I have led our work to eliminate barriers to organizing in both public and private sectors, including for teachers. But there is more that we must do. President Joe Biden and I promised to sign the PRO Act into law, and I promise you I will keep that promise. Because when workers join together and demand what is fair, everyone is better off. Understand, and I say this everywhere I go, understand, you may not be a union member, but you should thank unions, and I'm looking to the cameras in the back of the room. Not them, but the people who might be watching. You may not be a union member, but thank unions for the 5-day work week. For the 8-hour workday. Thank unions for sick leave and paid family leave and vacation time. Because the fact is, unions helped build America's middle class. And when unions are strong, America is strong. So AFT, ours is a fight for the future, and ours is a fight for freedom. In this moment across our nation, we witness a full-on attack on hard-won, hard-fought freedoms. While you teach students about democracy and representative government, extremists attack the sacred freedom to vote. While you try to create safe and welcoming places where our children can learn, extremists attack our freedom to live safe from gun violence. They have the nerve to tell teachers to strap on a gun in the classroom, while they refuse to pass common sense gun safety laws. And while you teach students about our nation's past, these extremists attack the freedom to learn and acknowledge our nation's true and full history, including book bans. Book bans in this year of our Lord 2024. And on these last two issues, just think about it. So we want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books. Can you imagine? All the while, these extremists also attack the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. They pass so-called don't say gay laws. Now I have to tell you, so many of you may know, in 2004, on Valentine's Day weekend, I was one of the first elected officials in the country to perform same-sex marriages. So here's the thing. It pains me so to think 20 years later that there are some young teachers in their 20s who are afraid to put up a photograph of themselves and their partner for fear they could lose their job. And what is their job? The most noble of work, teaching other people's children. And God knows we don't pay you enough as it is. In this moment, we are in a fight for our most fundamental freedoms. And to this room of leaders, I say, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Because here's the thing. We believe in our country. We believe in its promise of freedom. And the American people believe in the promise of freedom. So we are in the fight. We who believe in the freedom to vote will pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will pass an assault weapons ban. We who believe that every American should be free from bigotry and hate will fight to protect our teachers and our students from discrimination and make sure every student can learn America's history. And we who believe in reproductive freedom will restore the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do. So AFT, that's right, bring it on. So ultimately, in this moment, I know we all know, we each in our country face a question. That question being, what kind of country do we want to live in? A country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law, or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? The beauty of our democracy is that we each have the power to answer that question when we vote. And when we vote, we make our voices heard. So today I ask you, AFT, are you ready to make your voices heard?